Thank you so much for coming to this historic Hero Award recognizing NFL great Andre Johnson. At this time, we would like to bring to the podium Bishop James Dixon, who is a pastor at the Community of Faith Baptist Church, president of our local Houston NAACP, and a board member of the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation. He will deliver remarks and bring us our opening prayer. Bishop Dixon.
Before I do anything, let's welcome and congratulate and celebrate the illustrious Congresswoman of the 18th Congressional District, the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee. Now, that was cute, but I really believe in celebrating leaders, especially those who work for all of us all the time, and the Congresswoman is next to the Holy Spirit. She's everywhere at the same time working. Let's celebrate her for real. Why don't we do that, please? We're in her house. Oh, come on, give her a hand. That's it, 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 that is it, that's it, that's it. My remarks are brief. The only reason I didn't play in the NFL is because God called me to preach. He called me to preach. Other than that, I would be celebrated as well. But I want to give a word about being a winner. Because simply put, winners distinguish themselves because of several things. One, courage, confidence, character, and commitment to a craft. We're here today because we're celebrating a man at the Congresswoman's choosing who deserves this kind of recognition because he's a winner. He's demonstrated all of those attributes: courage, confidence, character, and commitment. You know a winner not simply about what he does with a helmet on, but when he takes off the helmet and shoulder pads and leaves the field at a stadium and wins on the field of life. And so today we're honored, Andre, to celebrate you next to your mother, because we know that winners are not by accident. Those attributes somebody has to put in you for them to come out of you. So we celebrate your mother next to you on today. Thank you for the model that you've given our city, to our youth and our children for generations to come. A winner. And I believe that there are winners in seats who never put on the football uniform in this room today. With that in mind, let's pray. Our Father, our God, we thank you for the grace that brought us to this appointed place. Thank you that you've shown us your favor, undeserved blessings. We can't count them. Help us today with humility to walk in faithfulness as a result of your favor. Thank you for the fruitful life that we celebrate today in Andre Johnson. Thank you for his fruitful life. But then we also thank you, Lord God, today that in the midst of a world of challenges, chaos, a community that's in crisis, we have reason to celebrate friendships, fellowships, and encourage each other. May this event today inspire some kid who's unnamed on this program to grow up to be a winner, to live life in such a way that the world is a better place because we came by. Thank you for our Congresswoman. Thank you for our leadership and our vision and a spirit of giving back. Thank you for our mayor and other elected officials and others who would gather here today. And we give you the praise and the glory in advance that all of us are going to walk taller stand more erect, live a more noble life because we were inspired by each other's presence. For these blessings, we say thank you. In the name of our Christ, amen.
At this time, we would like all of us to rise as we say our Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. You've already heard a wonderful introduction of our shero here in our congressional district, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who represents the 18th Congressional District of the United States of America. She is Chief Deputy in the United States House of Representatives and the founder of the Congressional Hero Award. She is many, many things to those of us who know her, many, many things to those of us who've seen her. But most of all, she is a servant to her constituency and to this country. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Honorable Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
It is my privilege to be able to welcome you to this very special occasion, and to thank each and every one of you for taking time out to honor NFL great, our friend, our very special new citizen of Houston, having come from Miami, Florida, making his way and making his presence, Andre Johnson. What a special day today. So as I acknowledge each of you, I want to particularly acknowledge our pastors. Bishop Dixon, thank you for reminding us that a hero expands their life and jurisdiction, and they expand it beyond the particular talent that they have. Let me thank Pastor Gilbert for being here. I'm not sure if any of the clergy are here. If you are, let me welcome you as well. I know you can tell there's a team ready, Mr. Johnson, who came to honor you, and that is the winning Texas Southern University Tigers. We are glad that they are here. We also want to welcome your teammates, your former teammates. I'm going to call them NFL greatness. Wave your hand wherever you are. Please stand and wave your hand if you played. Thank you so very much. And the gentleman that's on the outside, feel free to squeeze yourself right on in. The idea of the 18th Congressional District Hero Award is to be able to say thank you for those who have made a journey beyond the gift that the Lord has given. From Jim McIngvale to Megan Thee Stallion to many others in between, and now to Mr. Johnson. He may have received many accolades, but we are grateful that his life story led him to be named the 2022 18th Congressional District Hero Award. And so today you will hear his story, tributes that will be particularly appropriate for his life. And I think one of the best things that you'll hear is from Mr. Johnson himself. I want to thank his mother, Karen Johnson, and his family, because it is family that is there no matter where you are and what your journey is. But I want to thank you, Karen, if I may, for plunging yourself into the Houston community and joining him in his desires for giving and charity, and never saying no when you've been called on. Ladies and gentlemen, an applause for Karen Johnson. So my welcome is that I am glad that you are here. This is the commemoration of Black History Month, but my view of that is, to those gathered in this room who are diverse, we live our history every single day. And African Americans contribute to the foundation of this nation and to the workings of this nation every single day. Today we pause for a moment to say thank you to one individual. With that in mind, let me, one of my committee members who has been diligent and faithful, I want to now bring her forward for a moment, and that is Ms. Henry, Hiawatha Henry. Would you come forward at this time?
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, for allowing me to be a part of your committee and on your team and all the great work that you do. Thank you all so much for being here to honor and celebrate future Hall of Famer, Mr. Andre Johnson. Mr. Johnson, you were selected for this honor because of your love for this city on and off the field. Your philanthropic efforts of helping those in need have been extraordinary, and that is why you deserve this honor. We would also like to acknowledge your mother as well for all her efforts and things that she has done for the city. Thank you so much for being the positive and guiding light Ms. Johnson is life. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Henry. We wanted this to be a testimony in word and in song. I couldn't think of a better songstress than someone who has given her life to us in Houston, Texas. She likes to be characterized as the daughter of a preacher pastor. She's not only embedded with the virtues of her faith, but she is likewise embedded with the greatest talent. She is nationally renowned, Grammy nominated, and as well our own very special and wonderful member of our community. I was surprised she wasn't on the road, but no matter when the community asked her to stand up and be with us, she says yes. Now will you enjoy a special tribute to Mr. Johnson and his family by songstress, outstanding musician, Mary Griffin.
Thank you. Lay my heart on fire. Come to me, wild and wide. You come to me. Give me everything I need. Give us a lifetime promise and a world of gains. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. Oh, this can't be wrong. Take our hearts and make it stronger. Boys and baby, you gotta lay on the rest. You're better than anyone. Anyone we ever met. Oh, stuck on his heart. Hang on every word he says. Oh, tear us apart. Look what you're bringing up here. Every hour ever be right here. You know, every night. we'd rather be there. Each time I feel start losing control, you're walking in faith with a heart and our soul. See, we can feel it when we're all alone. Andre, don't let go. Keep fighting every morning. God's given you all of these young men to bring up, to teach, and to give them the best. Because he's better than all the rest. Giving back better than anyone. Because we got a mother who's right there, who never stopped praying. He's the best. Thank you, Mom. Better than all the rest. Oh, better than anyone. Anyone we ever made.
Mary Griffin, ladies and gentlemen, Mary Griffin. Thank you so much. Now we will have remarks by Greg Grissom, President of the Houston Texans.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow right there. Thank you, Mary. Wow, that's amazing. And Andre, you are simply the best. And I can't think of a better way to start. So, my name is Greg Grissom, and on behalf of the Texans and the McNair family, who unfortunately could not be here today due to a prior commitment, and I think they expressed their congratulations to Andre directly this morning. I'm just proud to be here as he's honored with the 18th Congressional Districts of Texas Hero Award. And I want to thank Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee, and if we can give her another round of applause, please. Thank you so much for recognizing Andre and what he has done for our community and for your continued support of our community. It's unmatched. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize Mayor Turner. Thank you for being here to support Andre. Thank you so much. We so much appreciate your leadership for our community. Bishop Dixon, I think Ralph Cooper's here. I know, I want to just say thank you for being here to show your support. I think Pastor Gilbert as well, and many others. So thank you so much just to be here on behalf of Andre and his family. And we couldn't say thank you enough. But I also want to recognize, I think the Congresswoman recognized some of our former players who are here today, and I just want to recognize them by name. And Amobi Okoye, I think he's right over here. Robert Smith in the back. Jonathan Wells, somewhere there he is right over here. Tim Jameson, there he is over here. Travis Johnson. I think I've got everybody here. I know Andre was a teammate first, and he cares more about these guys than anybody, and they care more about him. So it's always about being a team when it came to Andre Johnson, and want to recognize that. Also want to recognize Rick Smith, who's here today to show us support. General manager of the Texans for many, many years, and helped build the team, a lot of winning days. So thank you for being here, Rick. And then finally, a couple of other folks on our staff that I think are important to Andre, who wouldn't be here. First, a gentleman by the name of Brett Stewart, who leads our youth football practice, who works with folks like TSU and the Waltrip High School folks. Andre, there's a guy over there who, you talk about inspiration. He said, I talked to him earlier today. He said, I wanted to play football because of Andre Johnson. So I think Sean, is that it right back over there? He's right back over there. So that gentleman right there is inspired by you. So thank you for all that you do. And then, importantly, Candace Mayberry, who's right over here. She works tirelessly with so many different things in our organization, but specifically with our legends and Andre. There you go. That's what it's all about. So, the Hero Award. I could sit up here and talk for hours about what Andre did on the field. I mean, speaks for itself. But what he did off the field is incredible. And you know, his commitment to the community, and especially Houston's youth, is unmatched. It was a huge priority throughout his entire career, both with his work with our organization in support of what we did, and on his own through his foundation. And I just remember, who remembers Andre going shopping with kids and holding up the big receipt at the end of it, right? You know, and what an amazing day. But what people didn't always get to see was the smiles on these kids' faces, the impact that they made, the opportunity that he gave them that they wouldn't have otherwise had. And there's countless opportunities like that, from you know, that event to him providing meals for people at Thanksgiving and so many more. And you know, you are a hero when it comes to those things. And so thank you for all that you've done, and the example that you set for our franchise, for your teammates, and everyone in Houston for what you did off the field. It's amazing, and thank you so much. It continues today. He's not done. And so what I would just like to say is congratulations, Andre. You are a Hall of Famer, right? It will be soon, and in every way. And our organization, myself personally, we're honored to call you a teammate and a friend, and congratulations.
Thank you so much for recognizing so many of the icons of the Houston Texans. At this time, we would like to welcome one of Houston's well-known sports commentators. He has been on radio for about 40 years. He has been on television for about 20 years. He is a writer for our newspapers. He is on television. He is none other than Ralph Cooper. Ralph Cooper.
First, many times we don't honor our heroes while they're living. I want to commend Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for putting this event together for someone that is very worth, I mean, this is him. Many people don't know, I'm in the streets. I deal with kids every day. I deal with keeping them, trying to get them there, trying to keep them out of Huntsville or downtown, chasing or being chased by police. What Andre Johnson is a hero. I grew up with Otis Taylor, Clifford Branch, some of the greatest receivers in the history of the NFL, right out of Sunnyside, Worthing High School. And one day before he passed, Clifford and I was talking about Andre. He said, he reminds me of Otis. And I said, that's what he reminded me of, number 89 for the Kansas City Chiefs, who played in the very first Super Bowl and then won the 4th Super Bowl game as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. As I come up here and speak, I don't have anything prepared. I'm going off the top of my head, just like the Congresswoman when she called me yesterday. I had watched Yates play Booker T. Washington in high school basketball. And now I'm at home watching Malcolm X with Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. So I want to acknowledge the following people. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge the Texas Southern University football team. I don't know what God's plan is, so I just saddle up and ride. I've been doing this since 1969. Mr. Grissom, when I first went to the Houston Oilers camp, the only thing black were the players. There were no black ball boys. There were no black PR men, Kevin Cooper. There were no black general managers, Rick Smith. The only thing black were the players. So I want to acknowledge the Texas Southern University football team. Where's the coach, Clarence McKinney? I've been doing this again since 1969. I've been doing a basketball tournament since 1983. He played in my first tournament in 1983. Coach Clarence McKinney, the head football coach at Texas Southern. And his coach said he was a player coach at that time. And now he's the head coach at Texas Southern. And I want to wish them, I think, let's give them, what we need to have at Texas Southern also, Andre, is Andre Johnson Day. We need to parlay what the Congresswoman is doing in this event here to an event at Texas Southern in regards to Andre Johnson. As I look around, I see the mayor here. I remember when he was just an attorney out of Harvard, handling a divorce case or whatever. They were fighting over money. Remember that? Thought I forgot. I remember Pastor Dixon when he played quarterback at Waltrip High School. Russell Wilson before Russell Wilson. Now, believe it or not, he was Russell Wilson. So then I look around and I see Eric Carr here, the boxer, two-time Golden Glove champion, now businessman here in Houston. I've been blessed to see all of these things. Then I see Rick Smith again. I go back to Rick Smith. Tell you what this man did as the general manager of this team is downplayed. When you look at what's happening right now with the Houston Texans, the man deserves a Congressional Medal of Honor, in my opinion, when you look at what's happening now with the Texans. See, I've seen the 1-13 all the teams. You're not talking, I've seen the great Texas Southern teams. Michael Strahan came to Texas Southern with one scholarship, parlayed it into what? Good Morning America. Andre Johnson comes to Houston. And the thing that impressed me most about him was probably something he never would think. He had his mother with him. Our mothers touch us. And you're talking about someone who loved their mother. So I see Mrs. Johnson, Karen Johnson, I see my mother, concerned about her son. You can't go to Dr. King's funeral, you're only 19. You can't travel through Mississippi, Louisiana, and all those different places. You're only 19, you're my son. I see a protective mother, one who has been fortunate enough and blessed enough to do things in his honor. Forget about the Pro Bowls, the great catches, the wins and losses. The biggest win is right there when you look at him next to his mother. I'm not going to stay up. The Congresswoman called me while I was watching Malcolm X. I'm not going to be like Malcolm X today and stay up here all day. But I will take a moment. We have to, like I said, we have to honor our heroes while they're still living. There's Reggie Phillips here. Saw him play in high school. Tell everyone which high school you played for. Jack Yates back in the day. Like I say, when you've been doing something since 1969 and you never thought about 2022, that you would be here in 2022 looking down at Karen Johnson with her son Andre Johnson, who's about to go into the Hall of Fame. And I want you to, as I get ready to step down, I want you to remember this. When you see him, although he's not in the Hall of Fame, that's Otis Taylor. If you've never heard of Otis Taylor before, Google him up. Google up Otis Taylor and you'll see and Google up his video and you'll see who Otis Taylor was and why he was such a great man and how he inspired many of us, people like me. Just like Andre's inspired people that he doesn't even know he inspired. I'm in a classroom one day. So, and I'm in there with a bunch of young athletes, middle school. So I asked them name the 3 athletes that impressed them most. Divided them in groups. They came back, all of them had the same person. Andre Johnson, number 80 of the Houston Texans football team. So in ending, as I step down here, I want to again thank the Congresswoman for inviting me. Thanks for including me in this. You're looking at a guy who's been around great athletes all of his life. How many of you seen the movie Glory Road? I went to school with that gentleman, David Latin. And I mentioned Otis Taylor. Michael Singletary came out of Worthing High School. Clifford Branch, hopefully, we'll know on the 10th of this month, Andre. We'll know if Clifford Branch is going into the Hall of Fame with you. So, and again, I want to thank you. Enjoy this event and look up the word hero. And when you look it up, put the word hero or the definition, there he is right there. Thank you very much.
Well, people, 50 years of sports commentating, 50 years of involvement with young folks. At this time, we would like to bring up Travis Johnson, a former Houston Texan. Travis Johnson.
How y'all doing? Well, you know, the Lord didn't call me to preach, so I ended up being an NFL player. But I'm gonna still keep it short and sweet since the 1 o'clock meeting didn't start till 2. But, you know, when I think about, first of all, I want to wish my niece, Kylie Johnson, a happy birthday. For y'all who didn't recognize her birthday yesterday. And I know he gave shout outs to everybody. I think Skip and Malou back there somewhere. There you go. But let me pull up my speech that I just wrote a couple minutes ago. When we talk about core values of a person, and I talk about my friend, man, my brother Andre, who's also my neighbor, you know, and I spend a lot of time in his house drinking up his liquor, but that's another story. I talk about 6 core values: honesty, using great judgment, compete every day, being accountable, enthusiastic, and finding a way to get the job done. This is one of the most honest dudes I know. He's always going to be 100 with you. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, when you're doing what you're supposed to do, he's going to let you know. You know, he always used great judgment. We've been places where my dog said, hey, man, it's time for us to go. And we get up and go, and lo and behold, it was great that we got up and moved around. Compete every day. We were here, it was hard, because at times we were 2-14. We were, 6-10. It was difficult to come to work on some days, and he competed every day. Enthusiastic. He might, if you don't know him, you think he's a quiet guy, but he's funny. I swear for God, he's hilarious. But he's always enthusiastic. You know you're gonna get the best out of him. Find a way to get the job done. When we talk about the Hall of Fame and we talk about statistics, and that's the biggest thing of it, statistics. And nobody else in the history of the game has had 5 quarterbacks throw him the passes that he's gotten. And to continue to put up the numbers he put up despite, Matt Schaub had a great career here. But the other guys that he played with, you probably couldn't name but one. And the stats that he put up and the adversity that he went through, he always found a way to get the job done. So that's my guy. His core values are core values to live by. Those 6 traits that he have are second to none. I love you, brother. I'm gonna told you I'm gonna be short and sweet because they got some meatloaf cupcakes back there. So I'm gonna holler at you.
Travis Johnson, thank you so much.
You did very good. You give Travis a big hand again, please. We can only do so well by having a city with a great leader who always comes to affirm who we are. And so I'd love for the mayor for a moment to come and greet his constituents and to welcome him to the Hero Award ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Sylvester Turner.
Thanks, Congresswoman, and I won't be very long. Travis said the meatloaf and cupcakes. I may not be able to stay the entire time, but I'm from Acres Home, so I brought some aluminum foil. We can pack and carry all at the same time. But Andre, let me just say that on behalf of the city of Houston, so very proud. I'm going to ditto everything that everyone has already said, Greg and Brother Smith here that I've known for a long time, and Bishop and all the players, TSU, Waltrip. Bishop played for Waltrip. And, but look, man, the city is very, very proud. I was going to say that you represent that quiet strength, but Travis says you're funny, so let's put an asterisk by that. But let me put it this way. Everybody knows, All-Pro, Pro Bowler, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, Houston Hall of Fame, Raft can go down every single deal. But I would tell you, since we are in the beginning of Black History Month, and then we consider the state of where the country is right now, what we all do need right now are positive role models. These guys need it, our young women need it, quite frankly, adults need it, and because in many ways we've kind of lost our moral compass. And there's so much negativity in the world that's tearing people apart. So we need people on the field, off the field, who has that moral compass to kind of direct us in the right way. And you represent that. Almost all of your 14 years of playing, you've always, and I am going to say, you've always exemplified excellence on the field and off the field, and that quiet sort of leadership, where you don't have to be loud to be heard, and you don't have to be just out there in your face to be that to show people how to do it and how to do it well. I do remember you taking those kids, shopping and all of that, and the smiles on their faces. That means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. For example, in the neighborhoods that I grew up with, the kids that I grew up in, the neighborhood where I still live, that means a whole lot. So I just want to thank you for just being consistent, dependable, reliable, and someone who represents the very best. To say to all of us, you can be great and you can be humble all at the same time and get all the attention that you rightfully deserve. And quite frankly, I believe you're going to be that Hall of Famer. But even if people on earth didn't give you that label, you already earned it. You were a Hall of Famer before anybody called you a Hall of Fame. And nobody has to define who you are when your talent and your humility speaks for itself. Let me thank the Congresswoman for this Congressional Hall of Fame honor. Now, I've never received it. I'm not trying to influence the committee. I'm not trying to influence the committee.
You can imagine it, you can achieve it.
But I want to thank the Congresswoman for taking the time, but I will say, in this day and time, people like you can never be honored enough, because in the end, it's not even about you. It's about other boys and girls seeing what you have done and them deciding they want to be just like you. And that's why we honor people who make the contributions. You didn't ask for it, but let me tell you, you have earned it, you deserved it, and because the way you've played and lived, other young boys and girls will be better and will recognize that they one day too can be honored just like you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
I think Andre and I, many of us, have the same thing in common. We love young people, and so again, I want to acknowledge the coach. I think he was hiding out before. He helped me do this and have the team here of Texas Southern University Tigers. I call them the SWAC champions and every other champion. Give them another big hand, please. Thank you, Bishop. Let me acknowledge HISD and Waltrip and Booker T. Washington high school students. Give them a very big hand. Football players. Reverend Reggie Devon is here. Let me thank him for his presence. Reverend Devon? All right. Thank you so very much. Stand up so we can say hello to you. Stand up, Pastor. Stand up. Give him a very big hand. Thank you to the Student Government Senator from Texas Southern University. Stand. Student Government Representative, thank you, Bishop, from University of Houston. Student Government, black student. All right. And Representative Ron Reynolds, delighted to have him here. Please give him a hand. Now, we couldn't have, for those former players who are gathered here, and really for Andre, a moment without, on the United States Congress, we say yielding to the gentleman who served with the Houston Texans in this community for a very long time, raised his beautiful family, and of course, has given us his all. And so I'd like to yield now for a moment to Rick Smith to come and speak at this time.
Madam Congresswoman, thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of the clergy, Greg, all the wonderful people here today, thank you for being here. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I think when you think about these kinds of events and these kinds of awards, and what we've heard a lot about today is about his past and how you've gotten to this point. But I want to spend just a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes just talking about the future. Because as we all know, Andre is eligible for the Hall of Fame, the National Football League Hall of Fame, and that vote is coming up pretty soon. And I have relationships with several of the people who vote on that honor. And from time to time, I will get phone calls from them asking my opinion about certain players who are eligible for that award. And I got a few of those calls this year. And one of those calls, I spoke to the gentleman, and at the end of the call, he said, listen, I would really like your permission to be able to say that to the committee when we talk about him. And I gave him permission to do so. And what I told him was that Andre, there is no doubt that he is already a Hall of Famer. And he is, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer. But the reasons why I said that was because the guy embodies everything that you look for. So from a physical standpoint, the height, the weight, the speed, the explosiveness, the short area quickness, all those things you look for athletically. But then the work ethic that he brought to the table, he showed up every day. And these men who played with him know every day, it's like Travis was talking about, regardless of what the situation was, what the record was, what was happening, every day he showed up to work. So you rarely get the combination of the elite athlete as he is, and still looks like that, he can still go play right now, and that work ethic. So that combination in and of itself is enough. But then you factor into you could have been on a phone call. You could have, because the same thing that you just mentioned, I said to him, the humility, the character, the way that he cares for the community, all of those things are why this man is absolutely an NFL Hall of Famer, and absolutely why you are the 2022 Hero Award winner, and I am proud of you. I think you if you didn't know now, you know. If you didn't know before, you know now how much we love you and how much we appreciate your commitment to the community, your contributions to the community, and your contributions to our lives, man. You are a wonderful example for all of us. So congratulations and thank you, man.
Thank you. Well, everybody should want to have Rick Smith as somebody that gets a call at night and just feed him what he needs to do, because it looks like he has the golden touch. Now, let me just say this. You have just put yourself in a position to be held responsible. I won't finish the sentence. I just want to take personal privilege. That's another term that we use, Mrs. Johnson, on the floor of the House. As a mother, let me take a personal privilege to now introduce and bring to many of you, it may be an introduction, it may be to many of you just a presentation, but Mrs. Johnson has been more than just a mom to Andre, and his humble and silent or calm spirit is generated by a calm hand. He's a businessman as well. He has an agenda post his pro ball career. That's an important statement. And I couldn't think of a better person to now come than his mother, his mom. And I don't know what he calls her, but his mom, and that is I must say, my bestie, Karen Johnson.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that took part to make up this great program. Thank Hawatha, and a very special thank you to the Congresswoman. She just appeared. Congresswoman. Thank you so much for thinking of Andre, and thank you to everyone that came out to witness this great occasion. Andre, major congratulations. Not everyone can accept praise for their accomplishments, but they need to be recognized. I am so proud of everything that you continue to accomplish, and I'm so proud to share this moment with you. I love you, and again, congratulations.
Let's give a great big round of applause to Ms. Johnson. Thank you so much for your gift to us. Soundtrack specialist, and she will come to us now to sing Sin Be an Angel. Miss Griffin.
Good evening. I was a single mother and raised him. Now he's 35. I know what it's like to be that breadwinner and to be that person that has to go to the football games and track games and still be an entertainer at the same time. And sometimes my kids don't get it because you're never at home. And I told him when he was growing up, you'll understand this by and by. I'm still telling him that at 35. Okay. But I wanted to sing this song for you tonight. I know how hard it's been. I went to college raising that son of mine. And then doing it alone was the hardest part. But I understand too, you sitting here today with him and how proud you should feel that all that work you did, now he has a whole bunch of little Andres coming. That he's placing that energy that you placed into him. So I wanted to sing this song to you today, because you are his angel. Aretha Franklin's sister Carol wrote this song for her years ago. Gotta find me an angel to fly away with me. Gotta find me an angel. Who will set me free. My heart's without a home. I don't wanna be alone. Gotta find me an angel. Yes, I do. In my life, oh, in my life, too long have I loved. So
still go on. Oh, good Lord, that you would send me someone that'll find me an angel in my life. Oh, yeah, in my life. Yeah. Right here and right now, Lord, I pray so long. I pray so long. Come on and send me an angel. I know there must be an angel out there for me, 'cause I've lived so long without the love of someone. There is no misery in this life. See that I find me an angel in my life. I know Lord, you're gonna be right there for me. Oh Lord, I need you to be right there for me. Lord, I need you to be there for me.
Phenomenally sweet songstress Mary Griffin, modulating 3 times. Modulating. Thank you so much. At this point, what we have been waiting for is the presentation by our Congresswoman of the Hero Award. At this time, please welcome back to the stage Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Ernest Walker, General Manager of KTSU, please have a seat. You are deserving. Give him a very hand. General Manager, 90.9 on your dial. This for me is a very solemn moment, even though it's filled with spirit that has been created in this room. Each of you are special guests with a very special reason for your invitation. Let me acknowledge our business leaders that are in the room. Thank you so very much. Wave your hand so that you can be seen. Thank you so very much. Andre is one that we expect great things from, and we wanted to make sure you were there. Allow me to acknowledge Greg, thank you. And I spoke to Cal as well, and we know that there will be some additional conversations as well. Let me acknowledge Mary Griffin if she wants to come out. I know she's been there. Ralph Cooper, thank you. You've made this very special, and you too are a Hall of Famer, and we thank you for that effort and words that you have given. Travis, you did mighty good, mighty well. You did mighty well. Thank you. And to all of the greats that are here. Let's give them another big hand. They are out there, injured, playing, sometimes never get a personal thank you. Those are their talents that they're using, and we're there enjoying it. So thank you very much in each of the work that you have done. Let me as well acknowledge the mayor, and I thank him for taking the time to be here with us. Let's give Mayor Turner a very big hand. And so, Mayor, this is, you know, you must come and sit in that seat. He was doing what he was doing. He was warming it. And, oh, you think that you can play with the SWAT TSU team? I'm always trying to give him what he dreams about, so here he is. They just need to take off one of those shirts and give it to the mayor so he can play. Let me thank the mayor for his remarks as well. And Ms. Henry, I want to thank her. And I particularly want to thank Rick Smith, who was engaged but yet broke away because he's had a long journey with us. I've known his family, his wife, and I thank him for being here as well. I want to make sure that I've added to everyone who is kind enough to make a presentation. The G-Boys, young but ready. Give them a very big hand. And of course, give Mary Griffin. I didn't give her too much of a promotion, did I? Mary Griffin, give her a very big hand. So now it is a moment in time for this presentation. It is timely that it has come in a month that by congressional law, by statute, is designated February as Black History Month. But it could have been any other month that would have been appropriate to honor Mr. Johnson. Andre does not find himself characterized by his historic definition, an African American. But I can assure you that our pride, for those of us who are defined in that title, could not be larger. We've used the word hero often. Hero stands for someone who is personally admired. There were description about a football player. In the description of hero, they've said someone personally admired. Or they said your dad personally admired. With so much diversity in our family structure, it could be mom, but it is something and someone admired for something that they have done. We're used to thinking of the heroes of the battlefield, particularly as a member of the United States Congress, many times delivering flags to those who've fallen in battle. But when we thought of this terminology, we interplayed the word humanitarian, but we thought hero captured the broadness of what we wanted to speak to. I want Andre to know that this month we highlight the names of Dr. Martin Luther King and Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, trailblazers like U.S. Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, my predecessor and mentor, U.S. Congressman Mickey Leland, my friend Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Jane Baldwin, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, and Gwendolyn Brooks. Each time, however, in their life, they have not been honored. They have been sometimes criticized and isolated. And so a hero has to maintain that grounding because there's sometimes, I don't know, Andre, that you might have been booed on the field. And a hero keeps on going. Maybe he tells me he's never been booed, but some have. And so when we talk about it today, we talk about a future trailblazer, a leader. We may even think of the first African-American woman to be nominated to the United States Supreme Court. Well, I can assure you her pathway will not be easy. Candace, I want to thank you as well for helping us and working with us and being a light. Thank you. So we thought of this in the context of history, the context of what his historical record will be, and that we give no short change to all the names that you may characterize as heroes. We believe Andre Johnson will stand because his life is beyond the talent God gave him. And so it has been said that he is humble. We honor that. I call him an NFL great. We honor that. A Houston Texan. We honor that. But I also say that Andre Johnson was able, in moments of disappointment or crisis, to pull himself up. To pull himself up. To keep his head up. To keep his eye on the prize. To walk in dignity. 2003 was a long time ago. There's a great sense of pride that he was picked, drafted third. That's a big deal. I've heard Tom Brady give the number that he was drafted. It is a long way back. And I understand, I keep saying 10, but a 14-year career here. 11th all-time receiver in NFL career receptions, in addition to receiving NFL awards or yards. He holds almost every single Texans receiving record ever, and during your expansive career, he was named to the Pro Bowl 7 times and named to 5 All-Pro teams, emerging as one of the NFL's most productive and memorable wide receivers in the history, still maintaining humbleness. Doesn't mean he didn't get upset. You couldn't be feisty on the field if you didn't get engaged. You couldn't be a leader if you didn't get engaged. In a dozen seasons with the Texans, he set records for most catches in a single game with 14 receptions, 273 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Most catches in a single game. Just imagine, that's those hands catching those balls. And how many of you looked at those games and you jump out of your seat in your living room or in your den because you're not at the game, mad because the ball went through their hands? Picture yourself. Look how many he caught. I'm almost near that number. All right. But Andre has a pivotal role as a player. His talents and contribution, generosity, made him an humanitarian off the field. And I remember after Hurricane Harvey, the foundation that he founded, not 5 years into his leadership, but there must have been something that struck him. First year, rookie, he founded his foundation. He didn't have to think about it. He said, let me establish the Andre Johnson Foundation. And in the days after Hurricane Harvey, I remember his outreach to the community. That was some very desperate times. I couldn't find a more sad moment. Even though we are resilient, there were a lot of sad families. I spent a lot of time at the George R. Brown Convention Center. I remember it well. And so I want to thank you in times of most difficult moments. You stood for us. I just want to recount a few points that people have sort of alluded to, but frankly, I think that this is important to know. Lead the league in both receptions, 115 yards, 1,575, 115 receptions were the third most in the NFL since 2000. And this was in 2008. Caught 10 or more passes, topped 100 receiving yards, 41 catches in October of the year 2008, caught 10 passes for 112 yards at Pittsburgh, caught 10 passes for 178 yards. I think the point I want to make is consistent playing. And no one can tell me a football player doesn't have injuries. Am I right? Players, do you play with injuries? I can't hear you. Yes, they do. And so as we thought about this very fine award, this award that is historic and placed in our records, we thought about staying power, determination, ascending to the top, but yet looking at those who are not yet there. We looked at someone who could bring someone along, willing to sit and talk. And maybe because, Rick, it was in the moment, and Greg, of some very tough challenges for the NFL, some time for reflection, some time to recognize that they can play on the field, but they can also lead in the front offices and as coaches. Maybe this is more than an appropriate honor today, because maybe Mr. Johnson's future is still ascending. So I am very pleased to be able to announce more officially that the 2022 Hero Award is going to Football Hall of Fame nominee, nominated in his first season of eligibility, the Hero Award for 2022. And that recipient is Andre Johnson, NFL great, Houston Texan, and many, many other stellar assets.